welcome. Don't know why we're doing this in the kitchen, but we are. Hello, welcome to Gay Questions. 10 questions that either get asked or people have asked or people might be curious about, along with, well, me. So, let's get right into it. Yes, it's with me. What's with the stupid hat? Anyway, ask away. There's nothing wrong with the hat. I like the hat. Leave the hat alone. Just leave the hat alone. Are we ready? Here we go. So question number 1. What are questions that are either just stupid or you're just sick of hearing? Stupid questions. Wow, there were so many. So many. I would say like ones that are just stupid or annoy me are things like, who's the woman in the relationship? Well, there isn't one. That's the point. When people say, oh, you gay, such a waste. No, it's not. Oh, what else is there? Oh yeah, one of my favourites. How do you know you're gay? Because I'm not attracted to women. But don't you just want to try it once? No, I don't. Vaginas scare me. I don't want to be anywhere near one. Thank you very much. So it's a no from me and it's a no from him. Does that even make sense? But yeah, you know, just things like that really. It's just like, just grow up. Get over yourself. Find a new hobby. Paint yourself in the eyeball maybe. Anyway, what's next? 1 or 2 there. Okay. Second question. Are gay jokes really funny? Or are they just offensive? Yeah, I think they're hysterical. I mean, the thing is, jokes like this are generally based on stereotypes which aren't true anyway. That's what makes them funny. And if you can't laugh at yourself, then, frankly, you know, I think sometimes we take ourselves a little bit too seriously. Gay jokes, are they funny? Absolutely, yes. One of the funniest. Doesn't mean that there aren't ones out there that are offensive, but they are made to be offensive by people who are offensive, and that's different. But something that's just taken as a joke, as a laugh, just a bit of comedy. There's nothing wrong with that, and I think we need to laugh at ourselves a little bit more. You know, we've worked hard to get to where we are, and a bit of laughter is only going to help. So yeah, no, I find gay jokes funny. I make gay jokes, you know. So yeah. Well, that answers that. Let's move on to question number 3. So let's move on to question 3. So, do you find the word queer offensive, or are there words that you do find offensive if you don't find that one offensive? No, I don't find queer offensive. No, I am queer, you know. I think more people should, you know, I mean, I think there probably was a time where it was deemed to be offensive, but I don't really see why. I mean, I suppose it depends on the tone and things that you use, but no, I don't find queer offensive. I think most people should just say, yeah, I'm here, queer, get over it, let's move on. Words I do find offensive, I think faggot is probably the maybe more. That's the one that I think I can think of now, and I don't like it when anybody uses it, whether they're gay or not. You know, it's like other words that people use in other sort of minority groups when they're using themselves. I think, well, if you're going to use it, you can't really complain if other people are using it, I'm afraid. But yeah, no, it's just one word that I just fag in any sort of abbreviation that I just hate it. It's just no. Anyway, shall we move on? Would you like to have children? Or do you plan on having children? Or is there children in the future? That's a good question. Do I? Yes, I do. I've always had the vision of having kids, but I mean, I'm in the point now where I feel I'm running out of time. If I don't do it soon, it's just not going to happen, and I find that very sad. It makes me very sad. The trouble is, it's expensive, and you know, you have to be. Well, I believe it's sensible to be financially stable to a degree. You're never going to be completely financially stable, probably, but you know, certainly I need to be in a better position than I am. And because of how and what I want to do in the aspects of having children, it's expensive. You know, you're talking 10 grand, I would say, probably, and I have no idea where I would get that. So you know, it's every time I think about it, it kind of breaks my heart a little bit, but I don't really know what else I can do at this moment in time, so I just have to try and not think about that. But yes, I do. It's the short answer. Let's move on. Hopefully something a little lighter. What is something that you hate about the gay community? What annoys you? What makes you just go, Mummy? What do I hate? There is quite a bit. I mean, there is very much a lot of bitchiness, backstabbing, self-centeredness, and I just can't be doing with all that. It's just like, get over yourself. It's like, just why? What's the point? What are you getting out of it? I don't understand it. I've never really understood it. I would hope I've never done it personally, and if I have, then I would certainly be sorry to whoever I did it to. But yeah, it's just that looking down your nose at people, I'm better than you. I think also there's a lot of, you've got to look this way to be sexy. You've either got to be this way or this way. You've either got to be one of these really thin, skinny kind of guys, which is probably the kind of guy I go for if I'm honest. Or you've got to be like that big sort of muscly or sort of bear type. And if you don't sort of fit into those three categories, you kind of cast aside. You know, I mean, I've kind of felt distant from the gay communities for quite a long periods of my life. There was like a short period where I felt really sort of included, and then that sort of ended, and I've never really found it again. But then, I mean, that's partly probably down to me, partly down to other things. But yeah, I they're the sort of things that I don't like, sort of these clickiness. And the other thing I like is you have to agree with everything everybody thinks. Because if you're not, then you're homophobic. And that's probably not the case. It's just a case of you don't have to agree with that point, which people are allowed to do. You know, I mean, there are many things that people say that I disagree with, and I just look at you and think, look, whatever. If you want to think that, that's fine. I don't think that, that's fine. If you want to have a discussion about that, that's fine. But I don't have to agree with you. And that is one thing that drives me crazy. So let's move on. So I think this is probably going to be one of the most asked questions within the gay community, which is also, I think, often asked by quite a lot of straight people as well when they know someone's gay. Are you a top or a bottom? You can tell us. Come on. Yeah, that is probably one of the most asked questions. And to be perfectly fair, unless you're going to be sleeping with me, it's none of your goddamn business. I mean, I don't mind telling people. I have no qualms about telling people, but I'm not going to tell you just because you don't need to know. I mean, maybe if there's a follow-up to this video, who knows? But for now, I'm not telling you. Okay, so here we are, ramping it right up now to question number 7. Are we on 7? I'm sure we're on 7. Porn. Would you do it? Porn. I think if you'd have asked me this 10 years ago, my answer would have been different, and I think it probably would have been no. Whereas now, I would probably say yes, I would consider it. Just because I think my attitude towards it has changed. That's not to say that I've not always watched porn myself. I have, but I think my attitude has changed towards it. I don't necessarily. I would probably say nowadays I think there might be a little bit too much of it about, but at the same time it would be something I would probably consider if it was offered to me, I suppose. But let's face it, no one's going to offer it to this. I'd have to be in much better shape, I'm fairly sure. But as I've grown and become more comfortable with sex and my sexuality and wanted to experiment and try things more, I've had a new appreciation for it. So yeah, as I'm learning still now, things that I may like or not like or may want to try. Yes, I mean I would probably. I would consider it anyway. But yeah, anyway, moving on. Yeah, shut up. Wow. Okay, moving on. Okay. I forgot what question we were on there. We are a little bit on the tubby side. So, what do you like about the gay community? What things, processes, things you do, visit, think about, or whatever do you like? What doesn't annoy you? What leaves you going, oh, daddy? That was probably creepy. Thank you for the reminder. Right. Yeah, I mean, there are plenty of things I do love about the community. I like its coming together. I like the differences and the flamboyancy in that. I like the fact that these are the sort of things that we get to celebrate. I like the fact that, you can go to. Well, it's not great where I live. There's not really much left of a gay scene, and I think it's being eroded away far too quickly. And I think it's important because I think the gay scene for me, although it has those negative impacts I mentioned earlier, it has a lot of positives. It's somewhere you can go, you can feel safe, be yourself, dress how you want, and I think that's important. And I think for me, that's always been a big part of why I've liked it, why I liked going, because I've felt myself, I felt I can be myself. It's like Pride. I love going to Pride, and you do see all sorts of things and all manner of things going off. I know there's been big debates about certain things, but I'm not going to get into that now. But yeah, I like that freedom of expression and comfort that I think sometimes I'm lacking in my life. I like it when I can go to those places and I do have it. So yeah, that's something I like. If that makes sense. Does that make sense? I don't know. You're talking to yourself anyway, so it doesn't really matter if it makes sense or not. Anyway, you said it was 8, 9. So question 9. Let's move on to question 9. Okay, I think again this is probably going to be a common one-on-one, maybe be well, let me just ask the question. Here we go. Question 9. Our penultimate question. We've saved the best till last. Well, we haven't really, but there we go. Question 9. Grinder, do you have it? Yes, no, what are your feelings? And prep, yes or no? Yes. Grinder, I've had it. I've not had it. I've used it. It's a dating app, but let's face it, it's not really a dating app. It is basically an app to meet somebody for fun. There's been times where I've deleted it, I've got frustrated with it. I have it currently. I've not really met anyone off it. Certainly not recently. Obviously, for one thing and another. Obviously, we've had lockdown and whatever else, and it's just not. But the thing is, as well, I'm not feeling. I'm not particularly. Well, I'm a bit too fat. Let's face it. But yeah. Grindr is something that I have. I've used it. I think Grindr partly has a role to play in the downfall of some of the gay scene, because it would be, if you wanted to meet someone, you'd go to a bar or a club. Now, obviously, you don't have to do that. But I think we should probably do that more. We should get back to doing that, just because, well, it's far more fun. But yeah, prep again. Yes, I have it. I take it. Even though, I mean, I stopped taking it for a while through lockdown just because I wasn't having sex. I've started again recently. Does it mean I'm going to go off and start having lots of sex or lots of unprotected sex or anything like that? Not necessarily, no. But I always think it's better to oh, my thing's falling out. Better to be safe than sorry. And it is extra protection, and it is protection as well for those times where you may make a error in judgment, shall we say. So yeah, I think it's important. I still think you should obviously play safe. But yeah, I take it. I have it. I don't see the issue with it. It doesn't mean anything. It just means I'm being cautious and being sensible. So yeah. No. Yeah. Don't know what else to say really. Okay, moving on. Where were we? 10, I think. Is it 10? Question 10. So here we are with our final question. Final question now. Come on now. This is it. What would you say to younger gays that are maybe still in the closet, not out yet, still finding their feet? I mean, despite the fact that it's not as scary now to come out, I would say, as it was, 10, 20, 30, 40, you keep going backwards. Basically, the farther back you go, the worse it was. But it can still be a very daunting thing. So, I mean, I think what I would say is take your time, be careful who you trust, be careful who you meet, but at the same time, you learn by making mistakes. Just make sure you stay safe. Take your time, do it in your own time. Like I say, you do have to be careful who you trust, unfortunately, but just go slow, take your time, enjoy it. It is an awakening. And if anyone for any reason decides that they don't like you because you're coming out as gay or whatever, well, screw them. They're not worth it, really, basically. I'm just, coming out is I think it's a very personal thing. It has to be done at a time when you're ready to do it. And I think that's the most important thing. Just take your time, do it when you're ready. And you may find, I know when I came out, there were some people that knew already and were just waiting for me to say. There were others that didn't. But yeah, so you may find people know, you may find people don't know, you may find people who have a good and positive reaction. But there'll always be somebody there for you if there are people that don't. So just remember that. And I think that's it. So we said 10 questions, right? Well, if you will indulge me, just one last question. Bonus question! Bonus question! Come on now. Bonus question. Would you date somebody that was HIV positive? And I think that this is quite an important question, which is why we've kind of tagged it on at the end as a surprise question. Well, it's not really a surprise because I'm asking myself, but there we go. You know what's coming, don't you? Bonus question, okay. Fair enough. You say bonus question, but that's quite a hefty question to throw out there, really. But yeah, yes, I would. Don't get me wrong, there was a time where I was absolutely petrified of it, and it still, I wouldn't say the word scares me, but it is something I would never wish to have. But at the same time, we need to realise that there are people living with it, and provided you take the right precautions and you're safe and committed and you know what each other is doing, then it is perfectly safe. It can be 100% safe pretty much. If everyone's doing the right things, there is no reason why you can't date someone that is HIV positive. And I think people need to stop stigmatizing and putting people down that do have it. I'm trying to think of the point I'm trying to make, but people are people. They're not the disease that they carry, or in the infection that they carry, or the disability that they carry, or anything like that. We need to see people as people. And if that makes sense, I don't know if that makes sense really. I'm just rambling now, I think. But no, the short answer is yes, I would. Like I say, as long as you're being careful and whatever else, then there should be no issue with it. There's no problem with it. There's no reason why you can't be in a perfectly happy, committed relationship and have a full sexual partnership just because someone has HIV. It's perfectly fine. Like I say, you just have to make sure you do all the correct things, and it's fine. So yeah. Anyway, thank you for the questions. If you'd like to see a follow-up to this, or question on another subject, or more questions on this subject, or you have questions in regards to this subject, please drop them and he will ask them and I will answer them, or he will ask them and I will ask them and he will answer them. Maybe we can flip it next time, who knows. But anyway, from me at least, goodbye. Well, thank you very much for taking the time to answer our 10/11 questions. I'll catch you next time. He'll catch you next time. We'll catch you next time. Bye-bye.
Jet plane headed up to the sky. Spread wings and the clouds getting